A critically acclaimed multimedia production featuring renowned Scots performers including Barbara Dickson and Siobhan Miller is preparing to tour Scotland to mark the centenary of World War I. And the opening night of the Far, Far From Ypres tour will be in Selkirk on Sunday, August 5th. Forming part of Scotland's Armistice centenary programme, Far, Far From Ypres uses the songs of the trenches to tell the story of the Scottish war effort and will visit 10 venues across the country throughout the centenary of the final 100 days of the war. The show was devised, written and produced by Ian McCallman of folk group The McCallmans to highlight the unique insight the songs offer into the life of a soldier. It shares the hope, suffering, endurance and fear associated with the war through the eyes of fictional, prototypical soldier, Jimmy MacDonald. Like many young men, Jimmy is full of enthusiasm and joins up right away. However, when he is sent to the Flanders trenches he begins to experience the true horrors of war. Ian McCallman told us, during the war, soldiers sang together to bond and alleviate fear, sharing songs from contemporary music halls as well as creating their own. However, looking back on the music of the war today, we can see how attitudes towards the conflict changed over its course. From the early, jingoistic songs that promoted recruitment and betrayed an innocence about the reality of war, through to the resignation, black humor and resentment present in the later songs, the progression reflects the bitterness which grew among troops as they became disenchanted. The cast of 26 performers, including Scottish folk scene favourites such as Barbara Dickson, Siobhan Miller, Dickson, Ian McCallman, Ian Anderson, Professor Gary West, Stephen Quigg and Ian Bruce, will also visit Aberdeen, Oban, Portree, Ullapool, Dundee, Stirling, Inverness, Dumfries and Edinburgh, all of which were closely associated with Scottish regiments and therefore at the heart of recruitment during the war. The tour will come to a close with a performance at the Usher Hall in Edinburgh on Armistice Day. Ian added, "The songs provide powerful context to key events in an era very different from our own, and with Far, Far From Ypres, we have harnessed their power and accessibility to bring the story of the war to our audience in an engaging, multimedia production that educates and lingers." The entire cast is excited and honored to be bringing the production to communities across the country as part of the WW100 Scotland commemorative program, and we look forward to sharing the story of Jimmy MacDonald, representing so many young soldiers of the war, with thousands. The show will also incorporate stories about local men at each performance, which are being sourced as part of a community engagement project led by Legion Scotland. Working with the likes of schools, youth groups and history societies, the Veterans Charity is helping research the local area's contribution to the war in order that these stories might be preserved and passed down to future generations. Professor Norman Drummond, chair of the Scottish Commemorations panel appointed to oversee the WW100 commemorations on behalf of the Scottish Government, added, "By the end of the war, thousands of men from Scotland had gone valiantly to the front line, a high proportion of whom never returned. For many survivors, devastating injuries and the trauma of war changed their lives forever, while the nation as a whole grieved the vast loss of loved ones. It is vital that we continue to commemorate these losses today, and the Far, Far From Ypres tour, a key part of Scotland's Armistice centenary program, will carry this message to people of all ages across the country as we encourage families to attend with all generations in tow for what will be a highly moving and educational experience." The tour is being delivered by WW100 Scotland in partnership with Legion Scotland and Poppy Scotland. Cabinet Secretary for Culture, Tourism and External Affairs Fiona Hyslop added, "World War I had a devastating impact on our nation, with no town or village unaffected. The Far, Far From Ypres tour, part of the broader program of activity to commemorate Scotland's Armistice centenary, will ensure that we continue to learn more about and reflect on what we have learned from the First World War." Until the end of 2018, through a series of events taking place across Scotland, Scots can continue to reflect on the devastating impact of World War I and its lasting social and civic legacy, ensuring that the brave soldiers who fought in one of the world's most brutal conflicts will never be forgotten. Tickets, which cost £15, £10 concession, for the Selkirk show on August 5 are available from the Scots Selkirk shop, 18 Marketplace. They, along with tickets for other performances, can also be purchased online at http://bit.ly/2kcsv9g. Lisa Denham, Creative Communities Manager for charity Live Borders, believes the Far From Ypres tour is unmissable. She told us, "At Live Borders we are big advocates of touring theatre productions, offering our own Borders Live touring program, and this looks fantastic. The mix of historical impact, strong messaging, community engagement and a stellar cast make it a performance not to be missed. I recommend those looking to book for the Victoria Halls get their tickets soon."